This is Jericho. My next two voice actors I'm going to be talking about is Luci Christian and Michelle Ruff, another one of my favorites. So first on Luci Christian, you may remember her as Haruko from Air. She was on Air Gear as Ringo. She played Kirino Chiba from Bamboo Blade. She played the main character from Birdie, the Mighty Decode as Birdie. She was on Black Blood Brothers as Cassandra Jill Warlock. Black Butler 2 as Alois Trancy. She was on Cat Plant Cuties as Antonia. She was on Clannad as Nagisa Furukawa. Comic Party Revolution as Mizuki Takase. She was on Corpse Princess as Makina Hoshimura. She's been on D. Greyman as Lena Lee. She was on D. An Angel as Risa Harada. She was Kasuna from Desert Punk, and she has won an anime award for Best Comedy Anime. And she was on Diamond Daydreamers as Suomi Kitano. Yeah, Kitano. She was on Elfin Light as Mariko. She was on Fractale as Nessa. She's been on Freezing as Ganessa Roland. She was Wrath from the first Full Metal Alchemist series. She was I think you all know Kanami Chidori from Full Metal Panic, one of the main characters. She was on Galaxy Railways as Louise Ford Drake. She's been on Glass Fleet as Eimer, Gunslinger Girl as Riko. She's been on Hell Girl as Sugimi Shibata. She was on Heroic Age as Aniyasha. She was on Legend of Legendary Heroes as Ferris Eris. She was on Maburaho as Chihaya Yamasi. She's been on Magical Shopping Arcade as Sashi. She was on Meso DSA as Mikura Suzuki. She's been on Moonface as Hikaru Midoyo. She was on Nabari no Oyu as Saraba. She's been on Needless as Cruz Schlau. She's been on Jima as Asuna. She was on Norima Daikon Brothers as Mako, and she also won an award for that, of course, for comedy anime. She was on Okumi-san and her seven companions. She was the narrator. She is, of course, I think you all know Nami from One Piece, and I think you may remember her as Honey from Oran High School Host Club. She's been on Peacemaker Kuragani as Tetsunosuke. She was on Pre-Tier as Himono Awayuki. And I think you may remember her as Princess Tutu, and she won an award for that too. And she was Ayu Daikuji from Rumbling Hearts. She was on Samurai 7 as Komachi Mikumari. Sands of Destruction as Morty Urshila. She was on Satsumi Magical Girls Club as Washu Kozuka. And I think you may remember her as Tenma Tsukamoto, the main character from School Rumble. Kayuki from Sergeant Frog. She was Akira Tanaka from Shiki. She's been on Shuffle as Nadeshiko. She was Yatsuba from Sister Princess. She was on Salty Rape as Kasha Maverick. She was Medusa from Soul Eater. And she was Erica Hartman from Strike Witches. Supergirls as Kotobuki. She was Yoko from Tactics. She was on Ugly Yet Beautiful World as Mari Nishino. She's on Welcome to the NHK as Hitomi. She was on The World God Only Knows as Alicia de Lute Ima. She was on Zandi Lost Memories as Nakayami. She's been on Baldur Force EXE Resolution as Bachelor. She was on Nurse Witch Komugi as Mugi Maru. She was on Rin, Daughters of Mino Masain, I think, as Mishio. She was on Gintama, the movie, as Kagura. She was on King of Thorns as Timothy Leisenbach. She was on Tales of Vesperia uh, as I think Rita Morello. She was on Trigon, the Badlands Rumble as Meryl Strife, and last she was on Vexile as Takashi. Okay, and my next voice actress is now Michelle Ruff. So about Michelle Ruff, you may remember her on Ayori Ayoshi as Ayoi Sakabara. I think you all know her as Rukia Kuchiki from Bleach, and of course, Spirit of Tobi Yume and uh, Zabimaro's snake spirit form. She was Aki from Boys Beat. You may remember her from Chi from Chobits, Mayu from Dear S. She was, of course, you know her as Zoe Orimoto from Digimon Frontier. She was on Durera as Henri Sonohara. She was on Gad Guard as Aiko Mary Harmony. She was um, Girls Bravo as Miharu. And she was on Gun Sword Carmen 99. She was, of course, I think you know her as Yoko Littner from Gurren Lagann, one of my favorite shows. She was on Last Exile as Albus E. Hamilton. She was the main character from Le Portrait de Petit Cosette as Cosette d'Avranches. She was on Lupin the Third. Of course, she was. I think you know her as Fujiko Mine. Yeah, she has won an anime award for Lupin the Third. Oh yeah, and Bleach. She was on Lucky Star as Tsukasa Hiragi. I think you know her. She was on Marmalade Boy as Miki Shikawa. Yeah, Koshikawa. And I think you know her as Yuki from Haruhi Suzumiya. She was Safety from Omishi Magical Theater, Risky Safety. She was on Please Teacher as Koshi Hirikawa, Rave Master as Eli. She was on Samurai Girl, Real Bout High School as Hitomi Yuki. She was Kayori from the movie Akira. She was on the movie Redline as Sonoshi. She was on Blaz Blue, The Calamity Trigger, and Continuum Shift as Carl Clover. She was on the video game Catherine as Catherine, well with a K, Catherine McBride, and the Skaya's series as Etna. Yeah, Etna. So that's all I'll be telling about. I'm gonna be telling more next time. So see you. God bless.